Carly for Brainchild Technologies. And my co-founder, Anka, and I both have PhDs in neuroscience, and Jesper is a software engineer. And when Jesper and Anka were first expecting their daughter, we as neuroscientists, of course, had all these questions on a baby's developing brain. Here you have this critical window of brain development everyone in the world goes through, affects the rest of your life, but we really know very little about it. And the problem is that babies have very few observable cues we can use to interact with them. They have this growing mind, but without coordinated motor skills, they're left almost like a locked-in patient. So what behaviors can we use to interact with infants other than crying to better understand them? Most healthy babies from birth have a natural sucking response. And it's realized that babies actually change their sucking patterns on a pacifier when they're interested in something. So this got scientists studying infant neuroscience very excited, and they realized they could actually wire up a pacifier to a computer and measure just how early infants started to get interested in things like language, and they started to recognize language. The problem was this was done in laboratories in a really dry and boring technical way, and the data collection was hard work. So what we want to do is take the skills from neuroscience and make it available to all parents in a fun and engaging way. So parents can take our smart pacifier that measures sucking rates and give it to their infant during playtime, and the infant can then control, say, an app through a tablet. Here, an infant can learn that certain sucking patterns cause images like bubbles or sounds to pop on the screen, and then they can have very interactive play. And this can adapt with the infant so they learn more complex sucking patterns, leads to new colors or sounds, and can also recognize when a baby loses interest and stops sucking to then either turn it off so they're not overstimulated or change to a new stimulus. And then eventually, can be programmed to help the baby wean off the pacifier when they no longer need it. So a nice thing, too, is that parents can still interact, so they can use a touch screen and, say, try and pop all the bubbles the infant made and see who wins. Parents could even upload their own images to see what an infant likes. And you could also use things that don't rely on screen time, say pacifier-controlled mobiles or nightlights, or things just based on sound. So here's an app you can test if a baby prefers words like mom versus just gibberish. And then you could have parents track this over time to see just how early they start to recognize words. Now, the more ambitious implication is that users can choose to share this data and create big data on this neuroscience and brain development in this first year and have better understanding of the variations in normal development. And this would be the first step to better understanding cognitive development and developmental disorders such as autism and ADHD, and better able to screen for them. There are plenty other educational toys and products out there for infants, things like DVDs and videos, but these are more passive playtime and don't tell the parent anything about the infant. On the other side of the spectrum, there's a lot of new wearable devices that help parents track the health of their child, but there's nothing educational or fun for the child and tells you nothing about brain development. We are right in between. So it's interactive fun games for the child and the parent, and also helps the parent understand what the child is thinking and their cognitive development. The only other thing similar out there might be something like DVDs that teach babies sign language, where babies can learn to sign to communicate with their parents, but babies can't do this till 8 months. Our products they could do from birth. Now this is coming at just the time when experts on babies and screen time are starting to change some of their recommendations to just make sure you avoid passive play for infants. And here we have something that's very interactive when parents are looking for alternatives. So we're initially looking to target this new growing population of millennial parents. And this is growing in the future and also plenty of opportunities for growth internationally as well. And what we plan to do is have a low-cost pacifier and core software that allows parents to buy a whole bunch of new apps or other devices like nightlights, rockers, or mobiles that are pacifier controlled. So with these accessory purchases, you could say maybe an average of 70 per baby with plenty of opportunities for more purchases and growth. And based on our current estimates of costs, we'd only need a small percentage, 1% of these millennial moms to break even with plenty of opportunities of growth beyond that. So with these millennial parents, they're very connected on Facebook to get parenting advice. So we want to connect with mommy bloggers and others to identify pilot families. And these pilot families would have the option through the app to record and upload their baby's reactions to the apps and show off to their friends on Facebook how much their baby can do. We could also look at targeting friends and families who are looking for gifts that might be interested in options where they could play games with infants through FaceTime or Skype. And then as side things, we're looking to sponsor events where neuroscientists can interact with parents in parent-friendly locations, go to parent expos, and maybe in the future partnering with companies for infant toys who can't develop interactive software at this young of an age. So what we need now is an additional $700,000 to help us develop past NeuroLaunch. And this will allow us to do safety testing on our current prototype and hand it to pilot families so they can test it out for a week or two, and then eventually we can finalize our design. Once we do that, we can then do manufacturing, distribution, and come to revenue generation. So with your help, let infants show you just how smart they are. Thank you.